How did you learn how to meditate, and how would you introduce that to someone, right now who wants to get on a meditation journey?
Okay. So when I did it years ago after the accident, I had no idea what I was doing, but I would just sit, do that was the initial one. It was more about just being still, and I would talk to my mom, and I would just be really still and focus on my breath. And then years after that, somebody told me that I should do this meditation class at the Psychic Institute. I was like, okay. And I didn't realize it was 3 hours a night. But what happens when you're meditating for 3 hours a night, or even 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night, or even 10 minutes in the morning, or 10 minutes at night, whatever it is, you're in touch with your higher self. And so everything that you've been holding on to is released way quicker. And so then, because of the clarity that you have and the connection with your higher self, I know this sounds woo woo. I don't know if your audience is woo woo, but it's who I am.
We're into it. We
um,
love it.
every, oh, okay. So I would think something. I would be like, um, oh, I would love to do that show. This was a big thing. I had a charity, and all the board was saying, "Oh, you should go on Oprah." And I was like, "Oh, don't mention that. I've always wanted to go on Oprah." And I knew it would be huge for the charity. It would be amazing exposure. It could help all these kids. Um, so I was thinking about it on the way home. And then when I get home, the phone is ringing. This is not a joke. The phone is ringing, and I pick it up, and this woman asks for me. I said, speaking. And she said, "Wow, you're a difficult woman to get hold of. This is so and so from the Oprah show." I thought it was a joke. I was like, yeah, yeah, right. So, um, but it was real. And the problem is, the whole time, because I was so attached to being on Oprah, that I kept saying to the producer, "I'm definitely going on, right? I'm definitely going." Like, this whole thing, they came to LA, they filmed, and then all this doubt was creeping into my head. And then, you know, I flew to Chicago and didn't have pictures of me in the car from the accident. And so they said I looked too good. Now, probably when the accident first happened, to hear somebody from the Oprah show say, "Well, you look too good," um, I would have been, really, really happy. But at that point, for some reason, I was like, "No, I don't." But it's okay. It wasn't meant to be, obviously. Um, I was really sad for a while, but then it's like, okay, well, there's a reason. There's a reason, because something better's around the corner, or it just wasn't meant to be right now. And that's, I think, the biggest thing as well is, when we're meditating. So, in answer to your question, sorry. Um, so the way I learned was to have your sit up and to have your feet on the ground, because then you're grounding. Like, rub your feet on the ground, so you're really feeling at one with the earth. And then I visualize from my uh, my tailbone, or whatever that's called. I visualize like an empty tree trunk or a pipe or something grounding in, going all the way from my tail into the ground, deep, deep, deep. And then I press a button, and everything negative, all of the fear, anxiety, resentment, everything, anything, sickness, anything in my body that doesn't belong there, shoots out through down into the um, pipe, down into the ground. And then I shut that. And then and then I open this, and then the gold light comes through, and then I visualize it going through every organ, every blood cell, like all through my body. And what happens when you do that, I start yawning, because you're releasing all this stuff, and you just feel this deep sense of peace. Um, and I like to meditate like that because it feels good to have a process. A lot of people don't have a process. They just, sit down and they want to do it in silence, and they just want to do the mantra. Another way for people that want to learn to meditate, another good one is the candlelight meditation, where you just sit. You can have some light music on if you want, and you just stare into the flame. because you're staring into the light, so the darkness will kind of fall away. So that's a good one. That's simple too.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It's it's so important for people to be able to connect to their breath, right? Whether it's through a
Mhm.
meditation practice, mindfulness practice, walking in nature, if we can if we can see our breath as our life force, as our best friend, something that we can connect to as an
Mhm.
anchor, especially when things happen or we feel overwhelmed or someone just yelled at us or someone cut us off in traffic, like anything that can just get us back into the moment. And I
Right.
think the reason why meditation is so powerful, one, it's like you're finally still, you get to connect with yourself, you're moving towards the center of your being, like all of these things that you're talking about. But then it applies in real life in
Mhm.
these situations. Like, I don't know,
Yes.
you're at an office job, your boss yells at you, you're feeling a little flustered, you have 2 minutes before you have to make this really important call that could potentially be the biggest commission of the year. If you're a meditator, now you can use that in a shortened form for like 60 seconds to get yourself back centered, to release what happened, and now you go and crush the call. But if you don't have that sort of
And let go
practice,
of the results, right?
exactly. Yes, 100%. 100%. And so if you don't have that sort of practice or you haven't worked on it, you're taking that anger from that meeting that your boss yelled at you into your next call. You won't be able to perform at your best self. Then maybe you don't land that commission that
Right.
you could have. And so there's downstream effects of everything. So if we can go to the very top of,
Yeah.
okay, yes, meditation is not monk mode, is not sitting in a weird room. Like, it's
Mm-mm.
however you want to do it, specifically how you said is a brilliant idea, but it has so much translation into your actual life that will make things better.
Right.
Um, and so I think if we
Oh,
can,
it's incredible. You're absolutely right.
and so I think that's one part of the maybe the self development or personal help world that doesn't resonate with people. Like, yes, these are the practices, but these are where they fit into your life. Like, if I'm a guy and I'm talking to other men, I'm like, you had 8 hours of work, really long days of work. Right when you get into the driveway, your wife and your two kids are inside. You want to be the best you can for them. You want to go into deep love now. So how can you sit in your car for
Mhm.
maybe 2 minutes and just try to let go of the
Mhm.
day and take some deep breaths
Right.
and be like, I'm about to see the people I love most in the world. Let's go and be present. And so, and if you don't do that, then you're going to walk into the house, you're going to step on a Lego that your kid just threw, and you're going to explode because you haven't released anything
Right.
from the day. And I think that's where we can get to people to actually buy into this stuff, to know how powerful it truly is to actually transform, the whole fabric of your life.